Thank you, Andy, for taking, and we are being recorded, and if you need to talk to someone sitting beside you, we ask that you go outside to talk, and also that we ask that everybody takes a seat, because we do have, it is a safety issue that, because in active shooter classes, they always say, if you've got seats, encourage people to be seated in case the police comes in. But anyway, thank you guys. Okay, we'll get started. Pastor Daniel, welcome. We always encourage praying for us.
Appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm unfortunately not able to stay, but I appreciate the opportunity to lead you in prayer. So let's all bow our heads, please, this time. Our Father in heaven, we thank you, Lord, for another day of life, and thank you for all the blessings of life. Blessed us all so much. Father, we thank you for the city of Manchester. We love our city, and we pray for the mayor and the aldermen, all the city officials, Lord, as they deliberate and consider all the items on the agenda. We know, Lord, that they need to have knowledge of the situations. And we also pray for wisdom that the right decisions would be made. We pray for them as they carry out their duties each and every day. We pray for all the employees of this city who work so hard to help each of us. We pray for our first responders. We think about them dealing with the best and the worst of humanity on a daily basis. We pray for your protection and blessing for them. Father, we pray that this meeting would go well, that everything that is said and done would be correct and carried out in the right way. Just pray your blessings on everything, Lord. Thank you for the opportunity we have to be here. Have your way. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alderman French. Alderman Peterson. Here. Alderman Bellamy.
Here.
Alderman Hobbs.
Here.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Here.
Alderman Parsley.
Here.
5 are present, 1 absent.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the January 3rd meeting and the January 3rd Dear Board meeting?
I'll make the motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Any corrections, any changes in the minutes? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson. Aye. Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Aye.
Alderman Parsley.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Any correspondence?
There are no correspondence.
Any comments from the citizens?
Would that be in reference to anything that's on here? I've never been to one of these, so. Is that in reference to ordinances and stuff that you're gonna go over tonight? Will you comment on that or not?
We will have some public hearing.
Okay.
If it's, what you want to talk about is part of what's on the agenda.
Yes, ma'am. One of the
Okay.
ordinances.
Oh.
Yeah. Should I do that now or later? Or
If it's, Which ordinance is that?
It would be the second reading of the rezoning of the property 19-118.
That's public hearing.
Public hearing. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay. If not, comments from me is I'd like to congratulate Donnie and Susie Parsley on their newborn granddaughter, and her name is Liza Lee. And I saw a picture of her, and she's absolutely beautiful. And just want to welcome everybody here. Thank you for coming, and it's always good to see a packed house. Okay, as we get into the committees, safety,
Safety will meet its regular meeting on next Monday. We had a special call meeting because we missed the regular date last month and just covered general business.
thank you. Finance,
Finance will meet also this coming Monday. We'll start into the budget season.
thank you. Street department,
And we're gonna try to get a quorum together to have a meeting Thursday, because Brittany needs to bring some things up that need to come through the street department, so we get 3 people there, we'll talk.
and just keep George in your prayers that he has quick recovery. Water and sewer,
We're going to meet on Thursday at 3 o'clock at the shop.
a lot going on there.
Oh, yeah. We'll have more than 3 people.
Okay, rec department,
There's a lot going on at the rec department too. AJ and his team are having to contend with some issues from our aging equipment and building, but they're doing their best. I want to say thank you for them giving such a comprehensive tour to the BOMA who were able to attend last week, and that was really eye-opening. It allowed us to understand a lot better what's going on there, and it's going to make our discussions better going forward. So thank you, AJ and Becky.
and just thanks for the board that attended, and
Yes.
thank you. Okay, tourism,
Tourism will meet this coming Monday night as well. We only had one returning member from that board, so it's been a little rough type of a start. I need to give kudos to Alderman French for kind of laying out some history for everybody. And I think going forward, we'll be able to get some stuff done.
thank you. Planning and zoning,
We meet every month, don't we, Brittany?
February 20th.
Yeah.
5:30.
thank you. Information systems,
It's good to report, Mayor.
and we are getting a new sound system put in the boardroom, right?
Yes.
We're excited about that. Okay, hearing in the historic zoning,
I'm going to refer to Brittany because I was the director in the meeting going on.
We did have a meeting this past Thursday. We approved 3 applications that were submitted for the ARC grant. There was not a quorum after the physical meeting, but they circulated those applications and they were approved today.
we'll get into resolutions.
A, a resolution amending the physical development plan of the city of Manchester applicable to property at 118 Easter Lane, also Michael and Sonia Jernigan's property, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick. It is a public hearing.
It is open to the public. Any comments?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need to hear a motion before we get started. Sorry. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I hear a second on the motion?
I'll second.
Okay. Any comments from the public?
This is you, I think.
This is where I
Thank
stand.
you, it is.
Okay. I'm not sure what the amending the physical development plan is. but-
Okay, would you come to the podium?
Sure, sorry.
And state your name and address, please.
My name is Eric Saunders. I live on 249 White Oak Drive here in Memphis. I know that they're looking to rezone the property, which is fine. I'm not really opposed to having more people or whatever, but I do have some questions. We've got sewage running into the creek already, so I'm really not sure what solution into that by adding more homes to it, we're gonna have more problems with the sewer system. Traffic is another issue. You put those people on the other side of the creek there and it floods. One bridge floods 6 to 8 times a year, and the other one, I've seen it flood a couple of times since I've been living there. They have no way to get out. I don't, you know, is there a plan in the future to have access from some other way to get in and out for all those people that are going to put in there? Because they're trapped in there if it rains. How are they going to get, if they have an emergency, what's going to happen? Or is the city going to be culpable if they approve all these homes in there, there's no way for these people to get out? So I'm just curious about, you know, what's the order of all this stuff going to be? If you're going to have all these homes there, you need to have the services available before we do that. We've got the industrial park, their sewage runs right through the neighborhood. So we've got an issue there. I think they're trying to work on it. I know they did something on the, at Skinner Flat Road where the river is there, but it just moves the sewage and coming out from one side of the creek to the other side, still comes out. So I think that's an issue. We've got sewage, raw sewage running into a creek that's running right through the town. So I don't know, I'm not privy to everything, so I'm assuming you guys have got a handle on it, but I don't know, I just have questions about that. So I'm just wondering. I think that stuff needs to be taken care of before we allow more houses and dwellings to be built there. We've already got all that R1, R2, and R3 zoning out there that can be developed already without being built. I'm not saying don't do it, I'm just saying let's do it in a proper way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
And this time, you know, we take into consideration the comments, but, you know, we just let,
That's fine.
I appreciate your comments very much. Any more comments? Any more comments? Comments from the board?
Let me say something. This is just to change the physical development of the, right, ready to go from R3 to R4? R1 to R3? That's right. It's been 2 months since we've done this.
So this resolution is changing the physical development plan. I refer to it as the land use plan all the time. And the land use plan is based on density assignment, so we'll be doing it later on in the section, we will develop the physical development. So this resolution is taking it from low density to medium density, and the adjacent property is already medium density.
So we're just basically making it like everything around it.
Like everything below it, so the creek actually, if you look at the, and you have a printout of my GIS. Everything below the creek when you're looking at that tax map printout is medium density essentially, and then everything above the creek in that printout is non-medium density, so it's kind of follows through with neighborhoods.
What is Brookhaven? And Brookhaven is?
Brookhaven is, it's zoned R3 and it is also medium density.
And it does it, even though it's not zoned, but is it adjacent to some high density property?
Currently, no. In the proposed land use plan across the street will be high density.
But we're not trying to, we're getting ahead of ourselves, right? We're not trying to zone it right now.
I just don't know which one to refer to.
Yeah.
I'll try to talk about both of them.
Right.
Okay.
And it came with a favorable.
It did, it's medium density now, we're not trying to zone it. When we get to the zoning part, we're not even asking for high density. Yeah. And just to follow up a little bit on your point, you're spot on pretty much all the way. But nothing will get built until TDEC signs off on it, the Tennessee Department of Environmental Conservation. So we can approve everything we want to approve. We could approve to cover up the city square in houses, but if TDEC doesn't say okay, then it won't get built. And they'll base that on sewer. That's their big thing.
Okay. And my problem is traffic, really, because you've got two ways for all these people that.
Sir, we'd ask
live there to
that
get
you
out.
come to,
You've only got two ways for people to get out of that whole area. There's only two ways to get out. And one of them floods multiple times a year. It creates a lot of traffic. And now right next to it, which is where I live, I mean, like I say, I'm not opposed to this. Just let's make it where it's going to be viable for everybody and safe for everybody. What happens if both of those bridges are flooded in and somebody has a health issue, has a medical emergency? Is the city going to be culpable if they can't get out because you approved it? I'm just asking. I don't know what the legalities are. I'm not a lawyer or anything. I just live there. And there's just a lot of traffic that comes through White Oak Road now because there's no stoplight at Doug Road, which there should have been years ago. They cut through the shortcut there because they turn, which that's fine, and everybody can use public streets, but those people have no way to get out. It's just, I think it's just not conducive to a good living environment for the people that live there. They just need another way out. I know there's a proposal to have bypasses around, but when is that ever going to happen? I don't see how you're going to do that. But anyway, thank you.
any more comments from the board?
I happen to agree with Mr. Saunders, and I'll be voting against this whole deal for that reason. And I think that, I respect what Mark's saying. We can approve whatever we want, and it doesn't matter until TDEC approves it. But here, I'm looking right here at our zoning resolution, and it says that we are supposed to use our zoning to prevent overcrowding, to minimize traffic hazards, to prevent undue concentration, and then also to mitigate risk from stormwater. And I know that stormwater is a huge issue over there. I've seen all kinds of photos of it and videos documented online, so I don't feel comfortable approving additional development in this area until the infrastructure is addressed, and that's why, if all you guys are wondering why I'm voting against it, that's why. Thank you.
Any more comments from the board? All right. If not, call roll, please.
Alderman Anderson,
No.
Alderman Bellamy,
No.
Alderman Hobbs,
No.
Vice Mayor Messick,
No.
Alderman Parsley.
No.
Motion fails. 4 votes to 1.
B, a resolution applying for Economic Development Administration Grant for improvements to the Manchester sewer system, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
Do I hear a motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded for this grant. Any comments from the board?
Hey, I just got one question. I thought that we talked to Lori that we were going to get $2 million out of this. We started out at 1, but I thought she said it'd been raised to 2.
Because the match was lower, then the total amount became lower.
So it was an 80-20 match on this one, right?
But they declared a state of emergency in Coffee County, so then your match went down. That's why it went from 2 million to 1.25.
80-20 is a good.
Yeah, that's, I'm taking one like that.
Any more comments?
I think it was 50-50 and then it went down lower.
I think it's always.
It was 80-20 with the ARP.
Okay.
Call roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Aye.
Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 5 votes.
C, a resolution to approve a contract with a change order in the amount of $255,780 with Norris Brothers Excavating LLC for water main improvements, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
Do I hear a motion to approve to adopt the bid as well as the amendment to it? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so we let that out for bid, and it was just one bid. So under the Manchester Code, if the bid was opened, it opens up a period of negotiation. So the change order reflects a substantial reduction in their bid, down to $255,780, which gets it down to what it was within a reasonable market value for the project, as envisioned by the city engineer. Mr. Carter, does that sound correct?
Do I hear a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
A second.
Any comments? The comment I'd like to make is Adam Carter, you did an excellent job in this, once the bid was open and walked it all the way through. Thank you. Any more comments?
This is for the Wake Street moving the water line, because the state of Tennessee is going to make us move the water line, whether we want to or not,
Right,
because they're going to do work on the Wake Street Bridge.
right.
So it's not something that we just decided we wanted to do.
Any more comments? If not, call roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Aye.
Alderman Parsley. Motion carries, 5 votes to 0.
Thank you.
D, a resolution approving a, sorry, that's what
We're
was
going to skip
tabled.
that, right?
Well, we do need a motion to table it.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to table this. Any comments? If not, call roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Aye.
Alderman Parsley. Motion carries, 5 votes to 0.
Ordinances, letter A, second reading of an ordinance rezoning property owned by Mike Jernigan at 118 Esther Lane from R1 to R3, sponsored by Vice Mayor.
We didn't approve the plan of changing, so there's no need to take this up at the moment, is there? That was what the first,
Same.
Get a motion. What? Table it?
we need to table it,
Or just,
just table it, that kind of thing you can bring back.
yeah.
Okay, do I hear a motion to table this?
Yeah, I think it's just dated.
There, so just skip it.
B, second reading of an ordinance rezoning property owned by Jan Hammonds and others on 196 and 230 Campground Road, recently annexed into the city as C2 Commercial, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick. This is a public hearing.
Do I hear a motion?
A motion.
Do I hear a second? It has been moved and seconded. This is a public hearing. Any comment on this? Any comments from the public? Any comments from the board? Call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Aye.
Alderman Parsley. Motion carries, 5 votes to 0.
C, a second reading of an ordinance to amend Manchester Municipal Code 12301 relative to building permit fees, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
Do I hear a motion to approve the second reading of the municipal code?
So moved.
Do I hear? It has been moved and seconded. Any comments from the board? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Aye.
Alderman Parsley. Motion carries, 5 votes to 0.
D, a second reading of an ordinance to add a provision to Title 14, Chapter 4 of Manchester Municipal Code to regulate travel trailers, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to, for the travel trailer ordinance. Any comments from the board?
I do have some questions. Since I wasn't able to attend the last meeting, I did listen to it, so I heard the discussion and that there had been some complaints, I guess, to the codes department. Is there any provision for folks who are building a home, like a new construction, and that they want to live in their travel trailer while they're building a home? Is that permitted under our codes, or would that be prohibited by this change?
We talked about that last time.
That was actually prohibited, and in my time here, I've actually only had one homeowner ask to do that, because a lot of our homes here in the city are built by contractors, rather than people live in their own homes. So it only allows for people to live in a travel trailer for 30 days unless they're on a social event.
Can they not get a permit?
Not, and there is something in there about a medical hardship or an emergency situation, and it even states that it's from like a temporary mobile home, not necessarily a travel trailer.
I know a few people who have done this. I feel like this is a temporary thing, and if people own the property and they have a building permit, you know, this is clearly like a short-term thing. So I don't know if you all would consider offering an amendment for that circumstance.
When we went through the planning commission with this, we asked about that. There was a way, and it wasn't really a complicated way to do this.
There wasn't a way.
Did you not ask about that at the last meeting, Bob?
I asked about if someone had their home destroyed or torn up and it was going to take longer than 30 days to repair it, and then they could stay in the travel trailer until the home was repaired.
So what was the answer?
I don't think new construction would be any different. That's just my opinion, that if you're building a house there, I don't see a problem you living in it, and then when each house moves to get it out of the way. But that takes an amendment. If what we voted on does not cover it, which the attorney would have to tell us, then I would be for making an amendment to that to cover temporary residents for new construction not to exceed 12 months. Surely not. You build a house in a year?
Yeah.
So something else you might run into allowing that type of thing is a lot of subdivisions also have covenants. So if I had to guess, I would say a neighborhood like Lexington or Waterford, I'm guessing that may not be within their covenants to allow it, so.
The covenants will override because it's
Right, and so the more stringent will govern. And in a lot of these smaller neighborhoods that have the smaller lots that we have been approving, you almost couldn't fit a travel trailer in a house with all of the construction around it as well. So I'm not sure that.
It may not be appropriate in every circumstance. I just hate to limit someone's use of their property, you know, if it's, you know, if we see where they're going with it, and they're trying to improve.
So there may be some type of provision we could add, if you all see fit, that some form of permit they could get, as long as they're also pulling in a new construction permit as well. There is a construction trailer permit that we have, but that is more geared toward commercial projects, that we don't even for.
So can you put this on the agenda for next plan? So let's talk about it.
The ad to the paper for February's meeting drops tonight. So
Well, put it on next time you get a chance. Can you do that?
I could do that.
We'll talk about it and see.
Okay.
I mean, there have been cases where that supply shortage and people really plan on it being done in 12 months, but it doesn't happen. But then you have to look at that edge where somebody really rides it out and doesn't push it. So we need something that comes in, that's consistent, that, I know that does happen. I mean, maybe the builder gets sick, has a heart attack.
Oh, yeah.
That's
So what I may do is I know that it happens in the county, but I'm not sure if it's supposed to. So what I may do is check with some surrounding jurisdictions and see if they have anything, and we'll kind of go off of that and maybe we can come up with something as well.
So are we sending it back to planning and zoning? Is that what?
We can vote on this and have faith that planning and zoning will come up with something, or we can send it. You can't make an amendment to the second read, right?
Without starting over.
Yeah, without starting over.
So you could table the second reading, I think,
Till April.
until April, to give you a chance to make another amendment as a separate ordinance to add the permit for new construction residences to allow somebody to live on a tractor trailer, if that's the way you're talking about doing it.
That's what I'm sure.
I'd be okay with that.
So we're sending it back to,
What I described was tabling it by motion, and then putting off the second reading vote until the planning commission comes up with a further, not amending this ordinance, but comes up with a separate ordinance that allows for a permit for somebody to use a travel trailer on new construction. I think that's the cleanest way to do it.
So in that case, so if we do that, it'll come from the planning commission, and we'll do a second reading of this and then first reading of another one, all on through there. Got it.
So I'll make that motion. It's not in here.
do I hear a second on that motion? Any more comments? Thank you. Thank you, Julie, for bringing that back to us. Okay, any more comments? If not, call roll, please.
Alderman Anderson. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hawes. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 5-0.
E, a second reading of an ordinance amending the budget ordinance for fiscal year 2022-23. Ordinance number 1654, sponsored by Alderman Hobbs.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any comments from the board?
I have a question. The police budget goes up by $1 million. I didn't catch that the first time. I mean, everybody else goes, I understand amending the budget for a few dollars, because that happens. How can the police budget be off by $1 million? What happened? Where's it going?
Is it the enterprise contract in that line item as well as the raises? No?
So we haven't voted on that yet, so there's another $1 million. I mean, and I'm not knocking you guys. I mean, you know, I'm behind you 99%. But I just want to know where the $1 million is going.
Can land on the feet on that one?
Where are you speaking of?
Well, right here where it says section 2, you got police, and the original was 2.02 and the new is 3.13. And I might be misreading that, okay? So educate me.
Well, I don't have the full budget here. On what I brought, that's not on part of the purchase that I have. Because that is the total departmental budget, and I just brought the labor lines.
That's a sizable increase or something.
Changed as well.
I didn't catch it the first time out, yeah.
Any,
That shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't do.
So,
Because the full amount was 800. Yeah.
The whole amount's only 800, so it's just, it should be a 2.
so how you gonna handle that? I mean, it's printed here, it's 3, so we need to amend that or make a motion. How do you want to do it? I don't care.
I would have to defer that to council.
All right, so as I understand it, there might have been a typo in what was presented. If it's a typo, and this is the second reading, and that typo was not on the first reading, and I believe there's a provision that talks about minor typos. Of course, you can argue whether it's a minor typo or not. It's come about $1 million. You don't have to reinvent the wheel and start over with typos. Now, you're asking me whether or not that's a minor typo or a major typo. I think if everybody understood from the last reading what it was, and does everybody on the board understood that to be the amount that it was supposed to be, then I think we're okay.
Okay. As long as I'm not voting for $1 million increase, I'm okay.
The whole thing would
Not
be.
been minutes or something.
It would be. It would be in the minutes, I would think.
Okay, so we're voting on it with $1 million less than listed here. Right.
Right.
So it goes from 2.02 to 2.13. I can understand that.
We need to check the minutes, to make sure that's right before we mess up.
On the minutes.
The numbers.
everyone has the numbers.
Yeah, they would be there.
Was this one we have tonight retyped from the first reading, or just made a copy of it?
The first reading was only an analysis. The analysis that was passed out, there was no budget amendment, there was no ordinance with the first reading.
Right, but there were numbers working.
Yes, there were.
That's what I said. So it,
This was not, these numbers were not a part of that analysis, because this is just taking the budget numbers, where I was taking the payroll numbers in the first reading.
On with it with $1 million.
As long as everybody understands it.
Everybody understand?
I understand. 2.1.
Thank you. If not, if no more discussion, everybody understands it's $1 million less. Appropriate.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy,
uh,
Alderman Hobbs, Vice Mayor Messick, Alderman Parsley. Motion carries, 5 votes to 0.
F, first reading of an ordinance to rezone a portion owned by Common John Brewing Company at 210 Woodbury Highway from R3 to C3, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any comments from the board? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy,
uh,
Alderman Hobbs, Vice Mayor Messick, and Alderman Parsley. Motion carries, 5 votes to 0.
G, first reading of an ordinance amending Title 14, Chapter 3 of the Manchester Municipal Code, the same being the zoning ordinance of the City of Manchester, Tennessee, to amend the definition of wholesale sales, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, changing the zoning of the wholesale sales. Any comments? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy, Alderman Hobbs, Vice Mayor Messick, and Alderman Parsley. Motion carries, 5 votes to 0.
Any old business?
No.
We're talking about raising. Oh,
I don't miss a chance. So,
raising.
so we're gonna talk about that, or what, the minutes?
What?
You tell me.
Well, we don't have the ordinance ready, so it'll be going to new business.
Yeah, so the ordinance is not prepared because it requires it to be in writing to be voted on. And there was a motion made last month, I think, or there was talk of a motion being made this month. So for raises specifically, which are budget amendments, it has to be in writing twice to pass the procedures outlined in our charter for passing an ordinance that amends the budget. So until you know what you're voting on, you can't put it in writing. And it's been talked about different ways and different times. So you can't write an ordinance before you know what you're supposed to write. So in other words, what was passed last time without an ordinance is, I think everybody decided that it wasn't going to be passed this time. So we were supposed to talk about what a new budget amendment and what a new raise would look like.
That's what we just voted on. On me was the budget amendment, which had the.
But it didn't have a raise.
We didn't have the raises in there.
It had the raises, it had the raises from the time before, but I thought the board had talked about making further amendments to that ordinance. And I was surprised that it was passed just a few minutes ago. Yeah.
So it did pass?
It was passed.
That's what I thought I was voting on. So that's good to know.
It passed, and then, well, first reading, it passed first reading, went through the finance, and then it was never brought to me about any changes in it. So,
So what did we pass? Did we pass everything across the board? Well, good deal, all right.
Except for the two most recent hires?
Right.
Yeah, and made it retroactive to
January.
January 2nd. I'll guess that.
This is amending our old budget going retroactive rather than our 23-24 budget, or will this continue through 23-24?
if we had amended the voting, the 10% across the board, we couldn't approve the budget.
You can never vote for it each time.
The budget.
You did on that one, didn't you? That's all. It's all around there.
So let me ask a question. So do we have to start completely over with this again?
No, we're through.
So no, this one has been voted on twice.
It's over. So it's over.
You should die.
I didn't vote.
Okay, it goes through a committee, and it goes through a committee.
Absolutely, right,
Twice.
right. It was in finance committee. But my understanding is that it was going to be amended tonight.
But it didn't get amended, so we voted to pass it.
So it's up.
So we're done, yeah.
All right.
That's right on.
Has the vote occurred? Yes.
We approved 10% across the board.
Joey, did you take it to be amended?
I've not heard talk of it, but nobody amended it. I mean, when we voted right here, that's what the conversation was about.
So, okay, it goes through committee, and the chairman or the department head brings it to the table.
Absolutely, and it was voted on once. But this is for the second reading tonight. But nobody amended.
I'll follow up on that and let y'all know the next couple of days.
So this is,
So it's over.
Well, no one came to me and said it's gonna be amended.
No,
We
we
went
didn't,
to,
they needed.
went to
First off,
finance twice.
first off, I
And I would
didn't
ask,
vote for it because I could not vote. I had to abstain from both votes.
This is what we voted.
Yes.
That's
Okay. All right, so moving right along, the new business. Okay. We're looking at, okay.
Congratulations, y'all. You got it right.
Okay, new business is the rec complex roof, and AJ, would you like to explain that, please? And I'm gonna ask our board, not the side. Thank you.
And this really in the form of a resolution that, before we brought the resolution to y'all, y'all needed to decide on which one, is that correct?
So our facility was damaged by a storm, I believe it was last April. Insurance cut us a pretty hefty check to cover the storm damage. They did not cover the entire upper roof section of the facility. They covered up to an expansion joint in the roof. So when we put it out to bid, we bid it out 3 different ways. There's a base bid that covers just what was damaged by the storm. There's a base bid plus alternate one that covers storm damage plus the rest of the upper half of the roof. Then there is base bid, alternate 1, alternate 2 that covers all rooftops. Base bid 1, 2, and 3. Base bid alternate 1, 2, and 3 cover all rooftops plus some additional work inside the facility underneath the roof and chemical and the acid. The insurance wrote us a check for around up $522,000. If we choose to do base bid plus all the alternates, the city will be responsible for around up again approximately $637,000. Rate Commission met and voted to do base bid plus alternate 1, 2, and 3 with your approval. If you do not approve, they do recommend at least base bid plus alternate 1 that will cover the first top or the main roof.
That's all.
Please do keep in mind that we do have other risks throughout the facility that are not related to the storm that are causing damage to the rest of the facility. This warranty, this one with a 20-year warranty on the membrane and also the metal coating that goes around the edge of the roof.
Look at the options that he's presented. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Or
Motion to follow the recommendation of the Recreation Commission and proceed with the base bid plus all the alternates and replace the whole roof at one time so that we're maximizing our investment, and also that's going to be our best bet if we want to avoid running into issues with the warranty. So that would be our preference.
do I hear a second to the motion?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we do the whole thing at one time. The comment is, do we know that if we buy the roofing from a certain company, I mean, I have experience buying roofing from a certain company that's supposed to have a 20-year warranty, and they're not there anymore, but it will be from a lot reliable roofing.
Yes. Can you speak to that, Stacy?
I mean, probably it's never happened to anybody else, but by the time I was ready for the warranty, the company was gone.
AJ, I have a question. Has any part of that roof ever been repaired? I mean, redone or anything?
No, we've encountered these throughout the years. When we had a warranty, we called in and get it repaired. We had I believe, about a 15-year warranty on it before, so we've not had a warranty on it for approximately.
So it's no other part of it's ever been repaired?
It's never had any major repairs.
So, I'm kind of like Ms. Anderson, if you start trying to piece something together, might have a problem.
I'm sure it's commercial, it will last, that it will be unwarranted.
When we had a warranty on it previously, we called the warranty company, and they had 3 different companies that they would send out to make the repairs. So we had one point of contact, and they sent out the roofing company outside that.
Any more comments?
That's over $1 million. Where's the money come from?
500, like I said, 500 and about, what,
520 something, you said?
522,000 of it is covered by insurance. The remaining 637,000 will be what the city might pay out to do everything.
So when we met, we talked about prioritizing. This is your number 1 priority.
This and the aquatics area, yes.
Well, the aquatic area, we didn't get into that, but I estimate you're looking at probably $1 million to fix that.
Correct.
I'm telling you.
I know. So where's the money come from? Where's $600,000? I just tell me.
You know, that building's what, 21 years old?
He's 20 years old in June.
So I'm not opposed to doing it. I just
Oh,
want
I'm
to
not
know where
either,
we get the
I'm not
money.
either.
You know, that's all I'm asking.
Good, right.
Any more comments?
He took the right hot check for it.
Any more comments? Okay,
Hey, Jay, excuse me, yes, I have one more question.
Okay.
When are you going to have something together as far as with pumps and so forth?
I contacted the Wald, the ones that we talked about their engineering report today. I haven't heard back from them yet. I'm in the process of getting hold of them and coming up with a plan.
Okay, I didn't know where we stand with that for that, because it'd be pretty, I guess, short-lived when we were facing that problem.
Yes.
So right now, a motion has been made and seconded that we will do it all. Any more comments? That's what we're voting on right now.
I'll go back to Mark's question. And before we vote, do we have $636,000 to put away? Right.
We've got, do we want to use our fund balance?
That's what I'm asking. Where's it coming from?
Well, where's that almost $1 million in raises from?
We know that's coming from the fund balance.
I would say, to give some background from the Recreation Commission, I think that we all understand that this is, this is a big sum to ask for out of our general fund or fund balance. We're hoping to move towards something more proactive where we have people, we're putting away money for these types of things and we can plan for this maintenance instead of, I don't think that's been done for the last 20 years. So that's why we're facing this. That's why we don't have a fund for that, because it's not been done. But if we want to protect the investments inside the building, we have to do something now.
Absolutely, and I agree, and that's one of the things that I was asked, when are we going to put together a plan?
We're moving to do that now.
Yes.
So I agree with everything y'all are saying, but you want $650,000 to do this. Next month, the police department wants $900,000 to buy cars, to enter into a lease. Where's that money come from?
Well, now the $900 is $200,000 a year.
Okay?
Good.
That's still coming, that's not the budget. I mean, the police department doesn't have $200,000 extra dollars laying out, I guess, do you guys? So, where's that coming? The point of that thing is that we can't pay for everything that everybody needs.
And the option of the first half was how much?
Just doing the basement.
We definitely didn't want to do, I would think, my recommendation is at least do the storm damage and where it divides the first 2 parts.
Well, that will change some things because we had one roofing company, Don Kennedy. These numbers I'm telling you are based off Don Kennedy.
You want to guarantee us?
He's not guaranteeing his prices if we don't give him the entire bid package.
Well, you got 2 other bids.
You got the 2 other bids, correct. So
Isn't that it, that you state that there's other leaks, there's other leaks throughout the building?
There is.
You know, so, you don't fix half the roof, you need to go home, so.
So with the storm damage, and the storm damage was when?
I think it was April of last year.
So we put at least that part off another month. What kind of damage is it doing right now?
Put off the storm damage part, or,
The storm damage?
I mean, we've got leaks right now from the storm damage part.
And what kind of damage is
You
it
can't wait
doing?
anymore. I mean, you've got leaks that's hitting our wellness room equipment upstairs that we just bought last year. It's causing rust starting on some of those. And it's also running down the walls, so you know what kind of damage you're having inside the walls itself and the window sills.
We talked about the problems, and we talked about, we couldn't do it all in a year or two. We talked about putting it on a 5-year basis.
Yeah, but I don't see more kind of way on some of this.
Well, we're operating right now. My opinion is.
Well, I mean, do you want to shut it down, sit on the road?
No, I don't want to shut it down. Nobody's saying anything about shutting it down.
Well, I mean,
Here's-
what do you do?
In my opinion, is we spend the $500,000 that we got. However far it goes. And then we budget some next year, maybe another $500,000.
One problem you have if you do that is you have that expansion going up there. If you at least don't do the whole high top of the roof, you have a potential of that leak being at that expansion joint, and then you're on a fight with the insurance or the warranty company, whether that leak started under a new part that was under warranty or if it's under the old part. Because the way water travels, you don't know where it comes in.
We're trying to address this in the most financially responsible way, but we're also trying to do it right the first time to where we don't have to worry about the roof for another 20 years, hopefully.
Correct.
So that's the thinking, and it's not a small, wasn't a small consideration for us to ask for this amount of money, but the board as a whole felt that it made much better financial sense.
One problem that I see is if we fix the storm damage, the other part of the building we didn't fix still gonna leak. And all it's gonna do is continually cause more damage that we're gonna have to pay for sooner or later. So if we fix it now and stop the damage, we should be money ahead.
Correct.
Would it be feasible to take the last option you give us, which is the base bid plus alternate one, and the city's part would be $173,000, and then we try to find a remainder in the next year, which is just 4 or 5 months away?
That makes sense.
I mean, you said if we can't get it all, then you give us an option on your thing here of a base bid plus alternate one. So it'd be the $500 and something thousand, it looks like then we would have to kick in the $174,000.
You'd have to go off the next lowest bid, which would be quarter, like 512,000.
Well, you don't know that. You don't know that Don Kennedy wouldn't come to it for what he bid for.
I'm pretty sure his thing said he was not going to honor that unless he got the entire package.
I can address that. My name is Stacy Slabaugh. I'm the architect for the project, and we do have written confirmation from Don Kennedy that when we asked them to hold their bid to cover this meeting, they originally, the original bid was to hold their price for 60 days. We fell right outside of that window. We asked each of the 3 contractors to hold their bid an extra 5 days to get through this meeting. So if it's not passed in this meeting, we're out of our time for the bids anyway. But Don Kennedy could only hold his bid if it was the full amount. The other 2 were able to hold each bid at each level.
So if we go for the option where we do just the damage by the storm, well, we've got 2 other people that will honor their bid, right?
We do. I do not recommend doing just the half that was damaged by the storm. You're going to have a weak point and you're gonna wind up spending more in the long run than you would if you replace that whole upper roof at the same
Yeah, that's what I was
time.
looking
You've got two different materials right now, well, right now you have a PVC roof up there. What the insurance company, based their money on was coming back with TPO. So you're gonna have this weird junction, not only between a 20-year-old roof and a brand new roof, but between two different materials. So if you only replace what's damaged by the storm, you're gonna be replacing that, the rest of it in short order anyway, because you're at the end of your warranty. And that's because the whole roof is at the end of its lifetime. But when you put that old next to the new, you're inviting trouble.
So do you recommend that we redoing the damaged section and section that's adjacent to it where there's a divide?
Yes.
So it'd be A with option one.
The base bid plus alternate one would be the minimum to get you the most bang for your buck. You don't want to invite more damage.
And if Don Kennedy won't hold his bid, then the next lowest bid would be Porter, right?
Correct.
So we'd be at $280,000 at worst. And if Don Kennedy would come back and honor his bid, we'd be at 178, something like that.
That would roughly leave you 400 for next year, right, to finish the project.
Yeah.
Right, that would be alternate 2 and 3. And I'm using the quarters numbers.
That's providing materials and labor and all that isn't.
If we're out that much money, we're out a third of what we need to do to fix the whole thing.
But I could say, there's no way, it doesn't wait another month to let that storm damage sit there. There is no way that we're sitting there watching that storm damage.
We can't wait 9 months.
Well, those of us who were able to be there and go on the tour, we saw that the water is causing all kinds of issues with the flooring in different places with the equipment. There's moisture places that it doesn't need to be, and until we can address that, then there are all kinds of mechanical issues that are going to continue to be harder to address because we can't control the moisture.
See, that's what concerns me. When you get into the mechanical issues, you're looking at $1 million, there's probably no way to break that up. That's just fix it. So there's $1 million next year.
There's no way to protect the mechanical if we don't have a good roof though.
Well, I didn't see all that much water damage when I was there, from leaks in the roof.
You also want to replace it before you get to
I
that
understand,
floor.
I understand that if I had, I get you, if we had an unlimited budget, I'd be 100%, we could build a new rec center. I'd be all right with that. But we don't. We got to do it the best we can. I grew up doing everything the best I could, because we couldn't afford to do. That's just the way I see it.
Okay, right now we have a motion and a second, and we've got to either vote that down or vote for it before we move to another option. Right, Bill?
The current motion stands at base bid plus all options. Is that right? Alderman?
Yes, that's what the
Let me
recommendation.
understand this correctly. If we don't do something tonight, these bids are no good.
We can ask them to hold it again. We've got about 3 days left on what they will hold it.
So there's no way we could get rid of the bill in 3 days. So basically, these bids are no good.
They expire in about 3 days. I could ask them, but at that point, their schedules are getting filled up. There's no guarantee they would hold it.
And I bet their cost of materials is not going to go down.
Well, I can say that it is on a slab, it is in a wet area, and you've got condensation anytime you've got that, and then you add a leaking roof, then it's going to add to more damage.
What is the dollar amount difference if we do, you know, what Mark and Joey seem to be comfortable with versus doing the whole project?
About 400,000,
400,000.
which we put in next year's budget.
I just hate to see us not do it correctly, like do the whole thing at once. So just because that was the recommendation of our commission, would you all mind if we just go ahead and put that to a vote? If you don't feel comfortable voting for that, I totally respect that. And then we can see where this vote leads, and then if someone needs to make another motion. I think after reviewing all the information, and I know how much research you guys have put into it, and I know that we've got a lot of members of the community that serve on that commission who've been longtime members, who are very committed, and they also felt this was the best way to protect our investment.
Any more comments?
Before we vote on it, if we vote to do storm damage in one, we're doing historically what the city's done before, halfway fixing something, patching it, and not fixing it. We need to fix it and be done with it rather than piecemeal it together like it's been done. That's the reason it's the shape it's in now, is because it's piecemeal and we didn't step up to the plate and do what needed to be done to take care of what we've got. And it's not going to get any better. All it's going to do is get worse.
Any more comments? Right now, we're voting on the whole package. Call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs.
No.
Vice Mayor Messick.
No.
Alderman Parsley. Motion carries, 3 votes to 2.
Nope, got 4 votes.
Oh, that's right, all right.
Motion failed. Now let's vote on the other.
Okay. So right now, do I hear a motion to do just the storm damage or do the storm damage plus where it divides?
I make a motion that we do the base bid and alternate 1.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
No.
Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Aye.
Alderman Parsley.
No.
So we're not agreeing with that.
We need to do something.
So, do I hear a motion to fix the storm damage part?
I would like to address that once again. I do not think that is a good use of your money. I think that is going to cause more trouble in the long run than fixing that whole upper roof. That is going to get you the best product for your money. I strongly encourage you to do what you can to fix the entire upper roof at one time.
And that would be the base bid and alternate 1. So the base bid and alternate 1 fixes most of the problem.
It doesn't fix most of the problems, it fixes the current.
Fix the worst of it.
Fixes the current problem.
It doesn't cause an extra problem. I'll
There
say
you
that.
go, okay.
But here we don't know if our warranty's any good, because like I said, you put part of it on. The other is like AJ said, you're sitting here and you don't know where the water's coming in if you got a leak, so the warranty ain't gonna be right. So you don't know, you're not gonna be able to cover it if you go that route.
So there's a motion on the table to fix 2/3 of it.
You made it.
Did I hear?
There's no motion on that, both of them voted down.
So there's no, we're pocket insurance money. Any motion to, we're not gonna do anything on the roof right now?
Doesn't look like it.
Before the decision is made, again, I want to stress that the bids expire in about 3 days. You have interest money, you need to do something, I can go back to the contractors and ask them to hold their bids, they may or may not do that. It could go out to bid again if that's what happens. I can't foresee it going down any, but you're having trouble finding the money now. It's going to be even harder if we have to go through this process again. This is not a want, this is a need. If there's any way at all that you can find the money to do the entire upper roof, that is the best bang for your buck at this point and will prevent future problems.
And that's base bid and alternate one, right?
Correct.
So we can't reintroduce the same motion, right, Craig?
The person who made the motion can bring it back
I
up.
believe a person, believe it or not, that voted against it can bring it up, as I recall.
Okay, right.
So they voted for it, I voted against it.
So you can bring it back up.
Okay. That's right, yeah.
So the only person, you two are the only people that can bring it back to the table tonight. I will say this. I don't know anything in this town that serves the public, children, and it has been put off for years and years, a lot of maintenance. But the rec center does a lot for this
Absolutely,
town.
you know, really good way.
I would like to, I worked for that department full-time for 13 years, more than that part-time and volunteer work. I do want to agree with Bob that there's been many things that have been patched, and I do feel like it's time that we do it right the first time. My recommendation, along with the rec commission, is to do all on the rooftops, do it once and get over with. I know it's a big chunk of money, but I think in the long run, that we'll be better off doing it that way. If you don't see fit to do that, then we do at least we need to do the base bid plus alternate one to be the high top part of it. Something has to be done today.
So I'll make a motion that we do the base bid, alternate one, and go down to the very bottom of the page to line item A, and put that in that motion. So that changes the motion from the last one that was made. It adds $11.
So, go explain that to me. How does it?
I'll make a motion that we do
The whole
the base bid, no, the base bid, the line item one. We don't do 2, 3, or 1, and then we go all the way to the bottom, there's a line item A,
And that is,
for replacement of roof deck, cost $11.
That's
It's per
per square
square
foot.
Okay.
but I can say in construction, you will never get a better deal than when you have, that somebody offers you a price to do the whole package. Because when somebody comes back, it's gonna cost a whole lot more.
Yes.
I mean, that's how
Mobilization costs,
mobilization.
right, once you're there, it's much easier to do, to add, than to bring another crew back another time and set up.
Gotcha. I'll remove my motion.
Mark, we'll let you make a motion to
Nope, it's gone.
send that other one and try all three of them again.
20 years is a pretty long time for this roof to have mostly held up.
That is the life cycle of a membrane roof. That's what you can expect out of it. So I think it has performed as good as it can be expected. But I think you are on borrowed time right now.
We're fortunate to have the money from the insurance company so that we're not asking for the whole amount.
It's not going anywhere. I have it.
Currently, there's no motion on the table for it.
I know it's a lot of money. But I grew up very poor, but we didn't have leaking roofs. We didn't, I mean,
We did.
we might have had to put straw and whatever.
You have a multi-million-dollar facility there. And you need to do what it takes to protect the facility. That if you allow the damage to continue, you're gonna have a bigger problem than you have right now. And prices, inflation right now are going up, so you're gonna have more work unless,
We'll be in a new budget in 5 months or less. Now, I'm not saying we should put it in that budget. In fact, if you guys want to put all this in the new budget, I'd vote for it once we get there, because there's a process, we know where the money's coming from, we made provisions to pay for it then.
From the time of starting and doing this, how long did this project take?
I believe we had 90 days in there to complete the work.
Okay, so
It ain't hardly gonna make it.
Good, you get us log in and hold the bill about the budget.
You can ask. You can ask from the hold the bids open. It's not against the law.
No, I mean, issue the bid and get the work done and then just not be invoiced until after the first.
I don't think that would be a proper way to budget. I don't think that would ask much.
We have
If it's gonna get put in jail, I'd vote for it.
payment procedures in the contract that we would
Of course.
have to honor.
But when you vote to approve this bid, you're obligated to money.
And partners could not kick in, you think?
No, they cannot. Their mission is not for maintenance or repair, it's for new facilities.
what was in your maintenance budget last year?
Depending on which line item you're talking about,
Well,
if you're talking about,
line items do you have as far as everything?
there's, for the rec center, there's essentially 3. There's grounds, buildings, and then other machinery.
Okay, as far
Other
as
machinery is your biggest one, and it's about $40,000.
well, but you can see where the problem exists. You know, I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about the next phase that within probably 30 to 60 days, so like, as far as the county.
So I'm going to restate the Robert's Rules of Order motion to reconsider rules. And if I said something earlier that was not correct or taken the wrong way, I apologize. The purpose of reconsidering a vote is to permit correction of hasty, ill-advised, or erroneous action, or take into account added information or a changed situation that has developed since the taking of the vote. It can only be made by a member who voted with the prevailing side. In other words, a reconsideration can be moved only by one who voted aye if the motion was adopted, and I don't think it was on either count, or no if the motion was lost. So if you voted no, you can bring back the motion for reconsideration that you voted no on, to put it in simple terms.
So do we have to,
We're going to pay $663,000.
And y'all have the estimations, it just depends on how much that you're going to do for all these other projects. Just use 800 or something, well, half that. And then I don't know about the discussion for police. If you do the whole team, I don't know if that's still what the plan is. If you do the whole map team, it's an annual payment of $180. I'm sorry, that's for over the cost, it will be $900 yearly. I don't know anything about that.
We're estimating that.
okay,
Okay, so I don't know about how that affects.
Yeah.
Who voted against the,
Mark and Julie.
the first time we voted?
They're the only one that can put this back on the table.
And that's for useful purposes, for obvious people. No use in reconsidering if
It's not going
none of that.
So you three that voted no on the other option can bring that up also. Two. Right?
Yeah, right.
It'd be me and,
Yeah, so one of y'all can bring up the other option if you want to.
I'll be taking that, you go ahead and bring back the option, put it on.
It's been a long time for breakfast.
Or you have the option of making a motion with some other configuration of alternates.
Yeah.
Well, why not, you guys are thinking about it, I can tell you that we had a couch recovered and we can only afford to do half of it, and that didn't look pretty at all. That was fun, that didn't work out well.
We can move this item to the bottom of the agenda and go ahead and take care of these others while we're.
How much is the item at the bottom of the agenda?
Yes,
I was
I
going
believe
to
you
square
can.
foot, so how many square feet we talking about?
You can table the motion and then make the motion to untable it at the end.
Okay. You know, to make a motion to move on.
It's a motion to table the matter before us, and then you can bring back a motion to bring it back for consideration at the end of the agenda.
Do I hear a motion to table this until,
Hang on, we're working on it.
no, no, no,
Wait. Can't do it all.
I'll reconsider whatever you need me to say here, so we can vote on this again for the whole amount.
thank you, Joey.
You're welcome.
That just excites me.
Well, after the couch story, I mean, I just couldn't take it anymore.
I wish I'd taken a picture.
How long does it hideous pill have to be put in this situation that we're in?
What it is, right?
Keep it rolling.
It's like everybody has for the last 20 years, all of a sudden at one time.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay, the motion has been made to do the whole thing.
gotta have a
It's
second.
a motion to reconsider.
And do I need a second?
Yes, you do.
Second.
Okay. What you are? Legal.
We are reconsidering, I believe, the first motion, which was the base bid and all options.
For the city not to come out no more than the 636 or whatever the numbers are, right? You guys will be able to hold to these bids now?
Anytime you do construction, you can get in there and you can find something that you weren't anticipating, it's an actual cover renovation. And with your unit prices in here, a little explanation about the unit price. That's for deck replacement, so if they get in there and there's some roof deck that needs to be replaced that you can't see, because it's all covered up with roofing right now, that is to add that to the contract. So there could be something we don't know in advance, but to get the actual work done that we have asked for, that's what their bid is. But I think everybody in here understands that there are unforeseen circumstances in renovation work.
No, I get that part, but the base bid will be covered under the 600. I mean, that, if it goes over, then I don't think we should have to talk about it again.
So are you making an amendment to your motion? So you're making an amendment
The motion covers
Doesn't
the
cover
figure that
anything
you got in there now.
I'm not worried about the overrun for unforeseen things. I'm just talking that, you know, in 3 days, you said this all expires. If you don't get it all done, and then we have to go to the next one, and it's $800-something thousand versus 600, I mean, I think we should have to bring that back and talk about it.
So you're making an amendment that it needs, that it should not go over the bid.
Yeah, you should take the Don Kennedy bid, right? And if those numbers change, then we should have to talk about it.
I do that.
I think that goes without saying. Yes.
Perfect.
So the motion on the floor is to reconsider the motion that was made first, I think, which was the base bid and all alternates. Is that right, Alderman?
Yes, sir.
Is this the one for 636,000 something, so we'll have that corrected resolution, which will be signed in the morning?
Yes, that's for the Don Kennedy. Insurance will cover $521,722.72. The city liable for $636,447.30, if my math is correct. It should be correct. And they calculator, so it should be correct.
Any more comments?
I may die between now and budget time. But if you come up next year and want $1 million to fix a mechanical, and you're gonna spend all this on the roof this year, I'm not gonna vote.
I mean,
That's in the future.
we might as well face the facts.
That's in the future.
We're gonna be facing the
So let's
same
go.
option, Mark.
Let's do one thing.
Let's vote.
Let's
vote.
Let's go. Call roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
No.
Alderman Parsley. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, AJ. Okay, moving right along. We have the Manchester Police Department. The Manchester Police Department major position job description. Do I hear a motion to approve it? The motion has been made and seconded. Any comments? Any questions from the board? If not, call roll, please.
Alderman Anderson. Aye. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick. And Alderman Parsley. Motion carries.
Next, we have a mobile generator lighting policy that for use, who gets to use that mobile generator?
Yes, ma'am. It's the light sets you see out at graduation or at Bonnaroo where traffic is most congested. It's basically a policy that I helped work with the police department to write that except for areas of public safety or emergency, they're only allowed to let others borrow it, or other government agencies or In other words, no private organizations unless it's a public safety issue. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Do I hear a motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any comments by the board? If not, call roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
Uh,
Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries.
Okay, next is on the White Street project. There's that I would ask that it should level off at 25,000 right, for an inspector that's on the job with Norris Brothers.
Based on the rough estimates, it would fall under the general contract that we have, the general services contract that we have with the city. So, I mean, it can fluctuate there, but that's the estimate there.
You think it will go over 25,000?
We certainly hope not. I mean, we have one inspector down there, and if the construction of the water line overlaps, let's say with the sewer project, he'll be handling both of those, so I'm hoping that we can double up on it that way.
So do I hear a motion to hire an inspector? And I can tell you, I rest better at night knowing we've got an inspector out there. And you guys have done a great job keeping making sure that things run along and no cover up. Do I hear a motion to approve an inspector for the White Street project? Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Do I hear a second? Okay. Any comments? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
uh,
Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries.
Okay, next is the UGB. We have two vacancies that anytime there's a regional planning and zoning that we will list it as a regional, and we've got two positions open, and it is a mayoral decision, and I have selected Rod Clutter and Brad Goodman. Okay, moving right along. The Boyle Finance, and this is put in legal, and right now we're using someone else to sign off on it, but it's moving from the past finance director to put in Lisa's name on the Boyle.
Being a trustee for the Boyer retirement account.
I'm ready to move.
Do I hear a second? Second. The motion has been made and seconded. Any comments? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries.
Now, any items from the board? Ms. Anderson?
No, I want to thank everyone for their support for the rec center. And I want to thank them for the great work that they're doing and commend them. It's their 20-year anniversary. So that's something to be celebrated.
Thank you. Bob?
I'm gonna make everybody mad. I'm kicking something back to new business. That they don't know about. I'd like to, our finance director brought vacation, sick time with her. Her assistant brought. I think our waterman needs to bring his. There's no sense giving one department head something and hiring another and not giving it him. I would like to make a motion that we give him whatever accrued sick time he has or had from his previous job, transfer to the city just like we did for the other two. How many hours you got in the other place?
Does it have to be the exact previous place?
No. How much you got on the book?
I have no idea.
You ain't
For
know.
sick or for vacation? Oh, I mean, there was a time where I used to have like 4 weeks vacation, but I don't know, maybe we can come up with like a reasonable amount that you guys would be comfortable with. I would take that in a heartbeat.
Well, I just think because one thing that caught my mind is you just had number what?
Half a dozen.
6 baby and need, I guess he's already here.
He's got to.
But we need to go retroactive our day, where he doesn't lose time being off with his family, having that.
He was given that I had the authority to do that, and we called, and he was at work every day, right?
I took one day off.
I mean, he was given that opportunity. That says a lot about them. And his wife is there with the baby, but anyway.
Anyway, I'm making a motion, whether I get a second or not, that's neither here nor there, but to give him the same thing we gave the other 2 hires. It's only fair to do what's right, and one's right for all of them. And the mayor and Phil, is that right? Phil can work out the numbers.
I would second that for the purposes of discussion.
Okay. So, do we know what we're, the time?
No, that's what you and him have to work out. Whatever the judge says we need to do.
You're confusing my role here. But I think that, yes, I think I just asked the finance director, your intention is to do the exact same thing we did for her?
For her and this other lady.
And the other lady.
Thing.
So I think we can come up with the wording for the resolution based on that.
I just can't see doing something for 2 new hires and leaving the 3rd out in the cold. That just ain't right. And I don't want to do that.
Will this be a resolution, if passed tonight, that is signed tomorrow? I mean,
I think it could be, yes.
and then they passed it,
Yes.
not knowing the numbers?
Well, if you don't, it's, I mean, when you boil it down to it, it is a money thing. It is a money thing. And I'm trying to remember whether we had numbers on the other ones.
We did on Director Myers, we did not on it was just in the minutes that were put, that y'all have in front of you, to go into her file. We did not do a resolution on the assistants.
Right, and I think we talked about that maybe because it was a director and nothing versus an assistant.
But we did have the numbers.
But if you want to do it right, based on that, then let's get the numbers together based on what you did for the other new hires and have it ready to go for Director Miller to be voted on with the numbers for everybody to vote at the next.
At the March.
Okay.
Make a motion to do what he said.
Did I hear a second?
Second.
Everybody knows what we're voting on, right? Phil, you didn't ask for it.
No, he didn't know nothing about it. I just heard discussions that he's going to have this baby and we want to make sure he got paid and what's right for 2 is right for 3.
Okay. Any comments? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hawes. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsons. Motion carries.
I think everybody in the city is doing a good job and I'm going to hush.
Okay. Wonderful. And congratulations on that.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, you're a grandpa now, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been one for 25 years.
I'm going to be a great grandpa. I'm going to be a great grandpa.
Okay, well, you're older than me.
I appreciate
Just a
everybody.
little, just a little.
Appreciate everybody coming and thank you, Lord. And do I hear a motion to adjourn? Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Thank you, guys.